Hey everybody, welcome to the Jim Masters Show Live. It's a pleasure to have you here. Hope you guys are doing well. If you're not having that hot of a day, well, this is the place to join us to get your spirits lifted, because this is our entertainment lifestyle talk show series, bringing back the warm art of conversation and that lost art of conversation with warm, welcoming chat with our guests and, of course, our lovely viewers who watch from literally all around the world. We have an international audience. So we welcome everybody who's joining us from the United States, Canada, Europe, Australia, Asia, and points beyond. I think we're still waiting for somebody to tune in from the Arctic Circle. I think we got Antarctica, we got Iceland, but the Arctic Circle. So if you're watching from the Arctic Circle, let us know. We'll put you down. Welcome, everybody. We always have a good time here. We always learn something. We're always informed and educated and entertained. I am your host, Jim Masters. I do this work professionally in the real world, in television, radio, stage, as a television, radio personality, presenter, voiceover artist, host, journalist, actor, writer, producer, stage MC. And almost a year ago, we started this show as a way to, continue to entertain and inspire and inform and just have a good time with everybody. People for years asked me to do a show like this. And I'm so glad that back in the spring of last year, we brought the television lights in and built this home studio here. We're in the greater New York area, between New York and Boston on the southern New England coast. And that's where we originate the show from the United States. And I'm so glad that we did. I'm so glad we had an opportunity to do this, because I've met so many wonderful viewers and you guys are absolutely amazing. You're called the Lovities because I said love and levity too fast in the summer. And thus the word levity was born, and our viewers call themselves the Lovities. And I think that's really cool, because the world could probably use a little bit more levity right about now, right? This show is also welcoming, regardless of, your height, weight, eye color, zip code, income, gender, religious, political beliefs, or any of that jazz. Guess what? This show is welcoming to everyone. So we welcome you. We say it's terrific to have you here on the Jim Masters Show Live. We've got an amazing guest coming up in just a moment. She's award-winning. She's extraordinarily talented. She's a super talent. And not only is she an electroacoustic violist, composer, producer, she's also a clinician and educator as well. And there's some exciting news about some things she's doing at university in New Jersey. So we're going to talk about that as well. Martha Mooke is here. And if you ever heard her play, and she's worked with some of the greats too, but if you have ever heard her play, she is unbelievable. And the sound that she puts out and the instrument puts out is extraordinary. I just loved the sound check that we just did before we went live on the air. I was like, oh boy, I can just sit back and listen to that. So it's an honor to have her here, and it's an honor to have all of you guys here too, whether you're watching us live or you're watching this in the archives. You can binge watch all 300 plus episodes of our Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series on YouTube at Jim Masters TV. We encourage you to check that channel out. You're on it now, of course, but check it out further. There's over 300 incredible episodes with amazing guests from Broadway television, music, the arts of all kinds, as well as science and culinary arts, food, you name it, sports, comedy, inspiration, and we love it. So Good to have you guys here. You can binge watch those episodes, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. We would love if you subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. And don't forget to click the notification bell so you don't miss any of the amazing content we have on our channel on Jim Masters TV and the Jim Masters Show Live. Let's welcome some of our Lovity viewers watching from around the world. Linda Odell is here. Good evening, Mr. Lovity. Good evening, Lovities. Good to see you as well, Linda. Welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you here, and hope your day is going well there in St. Augustine, Florida. From Florida as well, Mary Bishop is here. Hello, Jim and Lovity friends. Good to see you, Mary. Welcome also again in sunny Florida. From Holland, from the Netherlands, Willie is here checking in. Hello, dear Jim and my friends of the Jim Masters Show. I wish you a nice evening. Thank you. Right back at you there in Holland. We love it when you're tuning in, Willie. It's always a pleasure to see you there. Kathleen Walker watching in New York City. Hey, Jim. Hope you had a good day. Love that shirt. Hi, everyone. Thank you very much, Kathleen. Hopefully you'll see it in person one of these days, and we can get together in the city again and have lunch or dinner and have fun. Nice to see you, Kathleen. I hope you're doing well. And Wozniak. Oh, and Wozniak, those chocolate-covered pecans that you sent and all those other kinds of pecans. Oh, my God. I just showed them last night on the show. Last night we had a wonderful guest, Emily Ray, actress, and then we did a little, just a quick birthday acknowledgement of my mother's birthday yesterday and my dad's birthday last week. And the whole family, we've been celebrating their birthdays. Everybody, we have a lot of family and a lot of relatives. And I just grabbed a couple of quick pictures and we showed them last night. Thanks for all the birthday wishes too from my mom and my dad. But we've been nipping at those pecans. They're so good. Thank you again, Anne. You're really very, very kind person. Christine Clifton is here. Happy Tuesday, Jim and Lovity friends. Welcome, electroacoustic violist, composer Martha Mooke to the show tonight. Looking forward to great conversation and music in Lovity Hall. Yes, she is going to play live. Yes, graciously said I would be happy to play live. She set up. We did a sound check before the show. Everything sounds pristine. She really is terrific. And yes, Willie, thank you very much. Nice shirt with stars. Yeah, they're almost like, I know they look like stars. They're almost like confetti dots. Isn't that really, really cool? This is a relatively newer shirt, and I've only really worn this shirt. I haven't worn it on, other television or anything yet. I haven't worn it out yet. This first time I've worn it is really here on the Jim Masters Show Live. So this is another world exclusive on the show, this shirt being debuted. Hi, Jim and everyone. Happy Tuesday. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Looking forward to an exciting show with amazing music and, of course, inspiring conversation and our famous Lovity. Now, I told Martha about the whole Lovity story, and she loves it. She thinks it's fantastic. So bring it on. Love all these great comments here. Juanita, watching in South Africa, one of our regular Lovity viewers. Hello, Jim and Lovity squad from Juanita. Nice to see you, Juanita. And happy Tuesday, Jim and all Lovity friends. Thank you very much, Anne and Merlin in Canada as well. Hello, Jim and Lovities. It's nice to see you as well, Merlin, as always. And Kathy Short in Cleveland, Ohio, USA. Hello, Jim and Lovity. So nice to see everyone here tonight. I agree. We have a great group of people who watch live, who participate with their comments. They like to be a part of the show, and I'm a very viewer-centric host and presenter. But at the same time, a lot of people watching right now who never comment, and that's perfectly fine too. You don't have to comment in order to be a part of our show. And if you watch this later in the archives, that's perfectly fine as well. However you watch our show, as long as you enjoy it and it brings pleasure and joy to your life, that's what it's all about. So cool stuff. Good to see everybody. We toast everybody here. Nice to see everybody. Cheers. We welcome you all. And thank you, Juanita. Happy birthday to your mom for yesterday, Jim. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. And the folks appreciate all those birthday wishes as well. We sang happy birthday to Mom yesterday as well, live on the show. So we've got an amazing guest here. I hope you are in the mood to be entertained and to be really bowled over by her extraordinary talent. I've been actually very, very cognizant of her work and a fan. Sometimes, when you're a host or a journalist or you're an on-air person, it's hard to not overshow your fandom. I'm a big music person, as you know. I love a lot of instrumental too, as well as all kinds of music. And she is really one of the best in the business, acclaimed for electrifying performances and compositions. Pioneering composer, electroacoustic violist Martha Mooke transcends musical boundaries, enhancing her classical training and expertise with extended techniques, digital effects, processing, and improvisation. A Yamaha artist and leading clinician on electric and progressive string playing, she is toured with, you ready, folks? Andrea Bocelli, Barbra Streisand, Peter Gabriel, yes, just to name a few, and Star Wars in concert, and has performed with Elton John, Trey Anastasio, Lou Reed, Iggy Pop, Laurie Anderson, Tony Bennett, Bon Jovi, Patti Smith, Damon Albarn, Blur, and many others. She is founder and artistic director of the Scorchio Quartet, that's featured on David Bowie's Heathen CD. As House Quartet, they perform each year at the annual Tibet House Benefit Concerts at Carnegie Hall, produced by Philip Glass. She's received awards from ASCAP, Meet the Composer, Arts International, and fellowships at the MacDowell Colony. She has been commissioned by Symphony Space, Arizona State University, Tribeca New Music Festival, Ridgewood Concert Band, University of St. Thomas, Agosto Foundation, Prague, Percussion Plus Project, Musicians Accord, and so much more. She is incredible. Her catalog includes solo, chamber, symphonic, band, and orchestra works, as well as multimedia, film, theater, and ballet scores. She's very in demand, and she works regularly presenting clinics at national and regional conferences as well, helping extend the boundaries in string music and education. She's extraordinary. I'm going to talk about all of this and so much more. In addition to being a wonderful award-winning electroacoustic violist, she's also a composer, producer, and educator. And it's my pleasure to welcome, live and direct from the greater New York area, the one and only Martha Mooke joining us here. Get ready to enjoy a wonderful episode of our show, gang. Martha, welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you here.
It's really great to be here, Jim, and the Lovities. Nice to be a member of the extended family.
My pleasure. Well, I tell you right now, take a look at some of the levity that's already coming your way, Martha. Ann says, welcome, Martha, from Jacksonville, Florida. Love your music.
Thank you.
Willie is here, Martha, our new levity. And Willie, she is in Holland, where it's already 1:15 a.m., but she's a trooper. She's always here. Mary Bishop in Florida says, welcome, Martha. And Jennifer Barry in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Hi, Martha. Happy spring. Krista is here. Prentice, I have been with you since Keith Harkin was on with you. Thank you very much, Krista. Keith Harkin was one of our guests. He's in Ireland, and he's with the group Celtic Thunder. Crystal Nolan, hi, Martha. Welcome to Loverty Hall. She's in Connecticut.
Hi, Crystal.
And Willie says again, and she's good with the emojis. She's got the instrument there in emoji form.
I love emojis.
I think that's great. Willie, again, there in Holland. From South Africa, Juanita says, welcome to the show,
Thank
Martha.
You,
and Kathleen Walker in New York, welcome, Martha.
Hi, Kathleen.
I think that's great. You know, everybody just diving in here. Kathy Short from Cleveland. Welcome, Martha. Nice to meet you as well. So a lot of levity coming your way already. That's really cool. So tell us about this really colorful atmosphere, the room that you're in right now that looks so comfortable and really nice and all lit up, electrified.
Yeah, thanks. Well, this all really started about a little over a year ago, when all of a sudden we all went from playing at Carnegie Hall and Broadway and touring to not.
Yes.
And after a couple of weeks, when I realized this was going to be more than a couple of weeks, I said, I have a feeling I'm going to be spending a lot of time in this space. And so I figured out how to make it a home studio, a production studio, TV studio. I learned how to use multiple angles and cameras, and got my lights and my lava lamp, and moved my pedal board, and Actually, when I perform, I usually stand up.
Mm-hmm.
And for this past year, I have been performing sitting down because that's just where everything is accessible. And so it's going to be an interesting transition to get back into alternate reality.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's a good way. Alternate reality as opposed to back to normal. Because I don't know if we're going to go back to any sense of a normal, whatever normal even really was. Some of it was a little abnormal. I like that alternate reality. Merlin in Canada says, welcome, Martha, to Lovity Hall. Guess what? You're now a Lovity.
Okay, I'll take it.
Christine in North Carolina says, Martha, welcome to Lovity Hall. We are ready to hear your amazing music. You are now a Lovity as well. Carla was one of our regular Lovity viewers as well. She is in South America. She's in Brazil. And she goes, hello, Jim and gang, and welcome, Martha, from Carla in Brazil. That's wonderful. Sherry London says, hi, Martha. Looking forward to hearing your music.
Hey, Sherry's an old friend.
Welcome, friends, old and new, or welcome to our show. And anybody watching on YouTube, we'd love it if you subscribe to our YouTube channel because we do these shows 7 days a week live at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific.
Hey, Terry.
Terry Schick is here. Hot Martha, my New Jersey neighbor. We've even got the neighbors in.
That's right, all in the family. Shout out to Staten Island, my homies in Tottenville High School, and New Jersey, family and friends around there, and everybody that I miss, and hopefully we'll get to see and perform for soon.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Looks like we're headed in that direction in a positive way, which is really, really good. Martha, early on for you, as a kid, did you always have an interest in music and specifically the string instruments? What were some of those sources of early inspiration for you?
Yeah, I somehow came into the viola was when we moved to Staten Island when I was 10 years old, and the music teacher from the junior high school started a string program, which those are fewer and far between these days,
Yeah.
New York City public school system. And they started a string program, and they said, oh, who wants to play violin, viola, cello, bass? Everybody wanted to play the violin or the cello because nobody knew what the viola was. And I knew from the moment that I could say my name that I was going to take the path of most resistance. And so I said, okay, I'll play the viola because nobody else wanted to. And I stuck with it. It resonates with my soul. And you find when you talk to people that start on the viola that they have a certain kind of personality. I would say even a Lovity personality.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Have you toyed with the other string instruments through the years too? Violin, cello, any of the others?
I have. I used to play guitar and sing with my sister, and we had a band called the M&Ms, and wrote a lot of songs. And over the years, I do play a little bit. I play violin, but my specialty is actually a 5-string viola, and because it encompasses both the violin and the viola, so I can play music written for either or.
Wow, that's amazing. When did the composing come in for you? When did you just say, I really love to really create and write the material as much as play it?
Basically, when I realized there was nothing written for electric viola.
Really wasn't, huh?
And so that's kind of the way I've done my career or created my career. It didn't exist, so I make it exist. And throughout the years, I've created opportunities, or I've made opportunities and created things. And including playing electric viola and a lot of the repertoire, and asking composers to create music for me. And then I started collaborating with Yamaha, got involved with them early on, and actually worked with them on developing their electric string instruments. I went to Japan, to Hamamatsu, to work with their design team. So I just everything that I do, I basically am self-taught. I mean, I have a master's degree in performance, So I have studied traditional viola, and I still play classical. But there's something that I discovered actually when I was in high school, and I'm not sure if you can see it in this view. There we go. Jean-Luc Ponty. When I was in high school, a friend of mine gave me a record of Jean-Luc Ponty playing this beautiful blue violin, and I put it on, and I thought, I have never heard a string player sound like that before. And he was blending jazz and electronics and improvisation with this whole new style or fusion of styles. And that was my aha moment, that if I had an emoji, the light bulb emoji would be going off in my head. And so I just I pursued it from there. I found out who was, working with electric instruments and electronics, and it's one of those things where everybody that you ask gives you 5 different answers. So basically, I figured out my realm, and I'll talk it through as we go through it.
You have that beautiful instrument to the left of you, up sort of on that shelf. Tell us about that. That is gorgeous.
Happy to. So this is my, it's called a YEV. It's made by Yamaha. This is my, and it's customized for me. It's a special instrument that combines viola and violins. It's got 5 strings. So I have the, and that's what it sounds like. I say acoustically, even that it's not acoustic. If I unplugged everything, you really wouldn't hear it. But the fun starts when I start playing on my pedal board. So I'll zoom in and out so you can see a little bit of what I'm doing. But these are my effects processors, like a guitar player.
Very cool. Very cool. Yeah.
You see, I use them in rather radical ways.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So what would you say when you take a look at, obviously, this real passion and love that you have for viola, were some of those, I could say maybe the early opportunities that came your way to be able to express yourself, some of those door opening opportunities that happened for you early on?
I step back and I sometimes look over the history of the path that I've gone through. Thanks.
Yeah, they love the lava lamp.
I love my lava lamp too. I've had it for a long time. Just going through high school and college and grad school, and just being able to do something that I'm passionate about and that I love, which is music, and then discovering that there's a whole world out there that I didn't know of. And so that really opened me up to opening up, basically.
Right.
And, we have to understand that we don't know things that we don't know. And we have, as soon as we're cognizant of that, we start discovering these different pathways. And that's what happened with the electric. And the further I delved into it, working, I would go down at that time when they had the, Manny's and Sam Ash on 48th Street in Manhattan, looking at instruments and plugging into all the different pedals and rack mounts. And I made my very first demo tape was made literally with one of those old tape recorders, the ones that you push the button and I took the microphone and I put the headphones out from one of my effects units that I put the microphone in between the headphones, covered it with a towel, and that was my recording studio.
Yeah.
I did improvisations. And that got me an award to work at a studio, and that's where I discovered the first time I ever went into a recording studio, and I started working with equipment like with Eventide and their amazing H3000 and all these different sound effects that just were blowing my mind, and working with Pro Tools, and I really got bitten.
The bug bit you, and you're like, I like this. I want to do this more. Exactly. So, were you seeing yourself as somebody who really loves studio work, or being out there performing amongst the people on stages? Tell us about what was, as the bug was biting you, what was calling your name too? More of a, studio recording artist, or were you wrestling between that and touring and stage work, things of that nature?
I didn't really know that I was going to follow in this path. I started out because I never studied improvising or composition, and so what I would do is shut myself in my room and turn out the lights and play along with Jean-Luc Ponty and Turtle Island String Quartet and any other jazz or any style, basically, but so that nobody else could hear me. And that's how I started finding my sound and my personality. And then I started writing and exploring and working with more electronics and loops. I've been a looper for a long time. That was sort of how I first was known in this field. But also I would go into an orchestra rehearsal with my viola, which had a pickup on it, and people would look at me like, "What do you play jazz? Do you play rock?"
Right.
They had no, and I had to say, there's not really a description for what I do. So,
who are some of the people over the years that you looked up to, perhaps, that maybe, you are a trailblazer, trendsetter, and just really making this the thrust of your work, your body of work, and loving it so much and sharing it with all of us. But who are others that maybe possibly came before or in other areas of music that sort of inspired you along the way?
Well, for sure, Jean-Luc Ponty, hands down. And I'm still in touch with him. In fact, we have collaborated on with some electronic gear. Laurie Anderson, with her work, very experimental work going way back as a performance artist. And Laurie's also become a friend as well, and we've played together. And as I mentioned, the Turtle Island String Quartet, the Kronos String Quartet. I very much became a fan of contemporary music. So Philip Glass, I started to follow Philip, and but always still crossing over with classical music and some R&B, and I've been an Elton John fan since I was 16 years old, so that goes way back. Before I ever, I never dreamt that I would actually play with him, and I had the chance to do that.
What was that like? Were you
Well,
pinching yourself, or?
Yeah, that was so amazing. That was one of those circumstances through my Yamaha world, and Elton John is a Yamaha artist. I'm a Yamaha artist, and so there was an orchestra that was put together to perform with him, and it was a wonderful experience where he was playing the Yamaha. I think it was a disc clavier, and it was a very experimental thing where they had salons set up all over the world, and when he was playing the piano, the pianos in these salons were playing along. They were playing exactly what he was playing with the same touch and everything. And I was part of the orchestra, principal violist that was accompanying him. And so it's on, as you can see it, it's on YouTube. It was filmed out at Disneyland, actually.
What a combination, Disneyland and Elton. That is absolutely amazing. And then, as time went on, you just really got into the thick of it all and just really let loose, which I think is fantastic. And this wonderful relationship and collaboration with David Bowie. How did that actually happen? That's really amazing.
That's another one of those kind of amazing stories. I still pinch myself. And actually, it's just been the 20-year anniversary of the first first time that I met David, which was in January of 2001. And I owe it all to Tony Visconti, who's David's longtime producer. And yes, that's my favorite picture with David. That was actually taken the first time I played live with him at Carnegie Hall in 2001 for the Tibet House Benefit Concert. And that actually also started my years of returning with my string quartet that I had put together to play with David. So I've played with the Tibet House Benefit Concert each year for 20 years. We played 3 years with David. He was the one, in fact, that named our quartet Scorchio. And again, it was Tony Visconti who introduced us, because I had done some session work for Tony. And he loved what I was doing with the viola and with the electric viola. And here's another example of, as an ASCAP composer, I felt that there wasn't anything that really represented my voice. So I pitched an idea to them to have a music showcase series that featured composer performers that were doing music that defied categorization. So that was kind of way back before it was cool to defy categorization, and that was called Through the Walls. And that was and we had a big backup from Steve Walter at the Cutting Room, and still very much affiliated there, and hope for things to get back to where we can all be out at these venues again as well.
It's a great place, the Cutting Room. Yeah, they really feature and support such a wide variety of talent, don't they?
Absolutely. Yeah, that was actually where Lady Gaga got her start.
It was a Cutting Room in New York,
Yep.
right? I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yep, that's where she cut her teeth.
Ah, boy.
And probably a lot of other things.
Right. Yeah. But you've had this extraordinary opportunity to work with a lot of incredible people. There's Tony Bennett.
Yeah, actually that was, I had the opportunity to do a solo sort of performance recital demonstration for him a number of years ago, obviously, when I had my hair cut short. And he was so lovely. It was actually for his school that in Queens that is named after him. And and so they were looking for a sound system for the auditorium that enhanced the sound. And so I was demonstrating the Yamaha system. And so I got to play. I was playing on my acoustic, and this was a switch because the room was changing sounds around me. Whereas when I play electric, I change the sounds within the room.
Yes, that makes sense. Right. That makes total sense. Wow. I love that. Tell us about the instrument in your hand in terms of just how long you've had that, and do you still use that one?
Oh, sure. That is my acoustic viola. And I've had that for about probably over 30 years. It's a contemporary instrument made out in Salt Lake City, in fact. And that's my primary instrument when I play in orchestras or Broadway shows or string quartets or recording sessions. That's the instrument that I'll have with me.
Really, really beautiful. You probably treat the instruments like children in a way. You really, you watch out for them, you take care of them, you nurture them, you make sure they're, well taken care of and preserved and appreciated, right? They almost become like kids, like child like for you.
Exactly. And I'm so used to, I was so used to leaving the house with my instrument, and oftentimes, lugging some gear with me. And that's another thing. I'm gonna have to build up my muscles when the time comes.
I know. The pandemic situation. I know. Well, they have said, that we're supposed to be 6 feet apart from each other, but we have to be 10 feet away from our refrigerators. I don't know how many of us followed that one. Our dear friend June is here. She says hello to you as well.
Hi, June.
Hey, June. And Linda loves the great photo of you and Tony Bennett, as does Juanita, and they love the photo of you and David Bowie. But I mean, the breadth of experiences you've had is extraordinary. Have you done session work too, like backing session work for other artists, other entities along the way too?
Oh, sure. Well, we did. We actually spent a weekend up near Woodstock recording with David on Heathen. And those are Tony's wonderful string arrangements, and we play on quite a number of those tracks. I've done quite a lot of session work for Philip Glass and a lot of his film soundtracks. Played a lot of sessions for let's see, there's so many, and I Ziggy Marley, we did sessions with him and Linda Thompson. And I spent a lot of time in the studio, actually, and that's something that I miss. In fact, actually, a few weeks ago, we were in the studio at down in the Village at the Electric Lady, doing a session with Phoebe Bridgers. That was both recorded and videoed for the Tibet House Benefit Concert, and Philip actually is playing the piano from his home in there, and Jackson Brown is phoning it in from wherever he so it's a wonderful performance of Phoebe's song called Kyoto. So everybody go and have a look at it. It's somewhere on YouTube, I'm sure.
Wow, that's fantastic. You really love collaborating with all the different artists too, right? And because they bring little nuances to the table as well, little essences that just enhance it all, right?
Oh, absolutely. And oftentimes I have the opportunity, or I'm asked to write the string arrangements, which I did with for the track we did with Phoebe. And I've done string arrangements when we've played with Iggy Pop a number of times, and it, I enjoyed that. We got to play with Lou Reed a number of times also. And just to be able to play with these folks, especially at Carnegie Hall, and then with Trey Anastasio, we met him playing with him at Carnegie Hall, and then a number of years later, he called back and he said, I want to do a concert with you at Princeton University. And we did, and that became Trey Anastasio and the Scorchio Quintet. We actually added a bass on that, and all you fish heads can download that one. I think that they offer that for free, in fact.
Wow, that is really, really cool. Merlin in Canada, she actually asks, and I know a lot of people do this. They do it with their cars, and some do it with their instruments. Do you name the instruments? Do the instruments have personal names for you?
Actually, I've never done that. I have never named my instruments. Some, there are ones that I favor from time to time, and this particular one has been my favorite for the past few years. Before that, I was playing mostly a beautiful red, fire engine red, electric viola from Yamaha. So no, I mean, some things I personalize, like I have these wonderful pedals from Eventide, and I actually, these two H9s, and they're both white, and I decided a couple of months ago in COVID boredom that I needed to take some glitter to one of my pedals. So I glittered it. And
that's lovely. That's cool. That's cool.
So I don't know, you want to hear a little bit of what it sounds like?
Yeah, we'd love to. Absolutely, Martha.
So I blend. This is what the instrument sounds like on its own. It's kind of lovely. And then the fun starts.
We are in the world of do-it-yourself, aren't we? The crew didn't show up tonight.
Yeah, they got slammed.
Right? That sound is just something else. There's really nothing that compares to that. It's such a unique sound. How do you describe that sound? When you hear that sound and when you play that, what emotions sort of surge up from your feet straight up and out into your hands? What do you hear? What do you feel?
I get lost, tend to get lost in the zone when I start to play, and then it's very much I create a palette of sounds, and I'm always experimenting and mixing and matching, and so I get lost in that world of creativity, and that's something that I realized has such a strong meaning for me that I wanted to start sharing that, and that is a big part of the work that I do as a clinician and as an educator is helping not only students but teachers and anybody that's in the audience, anybody that's listening, to how to access their creativity. Because again, as I mentioned earlier, you don't know what you don't know, right? You don't know what you're missing until you know what you've been missing. And so part of what I do is I try to help people understand that there's more out there, and that maybe some people think that they don't have any creativity or that they're not talented. And everybody's got something deep within. They just don't know how to access it.
Exactly right. Exactly right. In my professional work, one of the things that I do is I interview a lot of life coaches and motivational people, and that's one of many hats I wear. And that's so true. A lot of times we don't know how to tap into what we know is there, but we don't always put stock in or give great value to or allow to ignite. Sometimes we're stuck in whatever that world is that has been created for us, or the world that we think we're only limited to. There's, these self-limiting beliefs that we could never, ever pick up an instrument like what's in your hand and all the years you've done this so beautifully and expertly, and ever be able to do like that. So I might as well not even give it a shot. And boy, could you imagine if nobody ever gave anything a shot with anything? So tapping into and being the educator, I mean, you get that, is the understanding of really tapping into the soul, to the heart, and to allow yourself give yourself the freedom to breathe and have the ability to believe in yourself, even if the world is not necessarily doing that. If it's something that you know is true to your heart and true to the essence of who you are, regardless of what it is, go for it. Give it a shot. You learn that way. And not everything's going to be perfect. There's always going to be rejection and possible failure, but failure is teachable moments.
Yes, actually. And I wanted to come back to the literal mic drop there, because I often have people ask me, what do you do when you make a mistake or something happens to the electronics or the lights go out? And at first I was saying, well, it's not really funny or, whatever. But then I discovered that really I began to use it as an opportunity that I would never have otherwise thought of. So when things happen accidentally, like on stage and I'm playing and I hit the wrong button or something happens that I never thought, or a pedal doesn't work, I say, well, okay, that's never happened before. I'm an improviser. I'm going to go with it. I'm going to come up with something new. I'm going to take it in a whole new direction. And there have been many times where I've come up with a whole new composition or a whole new way of playing something. And I've really been encouraging my students and everybody that I talk to, these times we didn't ask to, be locked in or, just have to be such a drastic change of our lifestyle. And so, it's looking for, they said, the silver lining, but really, these are times to be introspective and find out how can we make opportunities out of these things. And how, Zoom, who knew Zoom before, right?
The only Zoom we knew before was Boston, Mass. 02134.
Exactly.
The PBS Kids show, Zoom.
Right.
That's it. Or Mazda, Zoom, Mazda. That was it.
Yeah. And I figured it out right away. I had to become a recording studio and a TV studio. And so again, I learned this early on too. You're a performer, whether you're speaking, whether you're reciting, whether you're an actor or a performer, and you make a mistake, don't make a face.
Right.
Make believe you were supposed to do that and either make the same mistake twice or just keep going as if it was okay. Yeah. We've
talked about that actually on the show recently, that's one of the beautiful things is, I've talked about how I've been in many situations in television, radio stations, studios, and on stage where all those things you talked about, the lights burned out, the technology, the cameras went down, something happened that's amazing and drastic, and you're out there and that light's on you and you have to stay there and you got to make magic, and you don't really have anything there. You have to just find it from within and just keep going. And sometimes even make it lighthearted. Levity is always a good thing. I would say that probably when people are starting out in the beginning, when something goes wrong, they panic, they freeze, and they're like, oh no, my world has just blown up in front of my face and the entire world has seen it. When actually, and I guess it comes from time, experience, allowing yourself to do it, you realize that those can be, as you just described, you've been thrust into situations where you've had to improvise and come up with something you didn't even think about 10 minutes earlier. Those can be some of the most creative and adrenaline-filled moments. I find that to be the case because the work that I do, everybody says, Jim, you're always so calm and you're so easy. You make things easy. When I talk to you, everything is so warm and easy. And I'll say, because that's the essence inside of who I am. But at the same time, part of what I do is so well fine-tuned and trained that I want to keep the train on the track. So keeping things calm and light and engaging, knowing that anything can happen and we might have to jump for it. To me, it's like a sport. It's the adrenaline's going, all cylinders are firing. And I'm sure for you, when you're doing your thing and something goes a little awry, it becomes like a sport. Then you're like, okay, here we go. Level 2, we're going to make something out of this. We're going to make magic out of that moment. So those moments can really be some of the most exhilarating and creative of all sometimes, right?
Yeah, exactly. And you have to make sometimes split second decisions. You know, what direction do I stop and go back and try to fix it, or do I, as I have done mostly lately, is just considered an opportunity and
Right.
go
Right.
go in another direction.
Don't dwell on it. See where it took you and go from there. Absolutely. Do you want to play some wonderful things
Yeah,
for
let me.
us?
I'm gonna tune the room, and you're all welcome if you're so moved to kind of hum along in
Yes.
with your spirit and your
And,
soul.
and explain for the audience who might not be aware what it means to tune the room.
There, for me, it means to get the sense of the surroundings. It's the first thing that I do usually when I'm playing in a small chamber room or a venue. Is I'll start off with an improvisation just to get a sense, and sometimes I'll walk around the room if I'm unplugged or I have a wireless system, just to get a sense for me to get a sense of what the room sounds like, because the room is a body. It's living and breathing. It's constantly changing, and it changes with if there's one body in it, or it changes if there's 100 bodies or if there's 10,000 bodies, and it's going to sound different. It's going to feel different. The temperature is going to be different. Even when we're online like this, we're going to be hearing differently. So I like to get a sense of that. I like to get the audience sort of into the zone where I am. It's a whole different landscape. So welcome to my landscape. You don't need a passport.
That's right, exactly. And we're going to tune the room together live. It's really cool. Wow. That is amazing. That is really amazing. Just want to show you some of what we're hearing here. Carla goes, wow. And Mona, who's watching from Louisiana, says, that is beautiful, Martha. So relaxing to listen to as well. Mary Bishop says, wow, this is amazing. She's in Florida. Maureen in Arizona says, that sounds like a movie soundtrack. Absolutely fantastic. And you've had involvement in film, right?
Yes. I've both played on film soundtracks, and I have created scores and music for film.
Yeah, absolutely. So Sherry London says, so beautiful and calming. Linda is getting visions. They can give you all kinds of different visions. It's like sitting in a planetarium, listening to the sounds of space. That's really cool, Linda. So then my shirt gives you that planetarium space-like feel, right? She's playing to my shirt.
Exactly.
Magical, as Jennifer Barry says.
So, yeah, and I want to emphasize also that, we're listening. I don't know, I have headphones on, so I'm hearing directly from my sound here, but probably a lot of people are just listening through their computer speakers or however they're listening. And so just imagine that sound in a live environment and really being surrounded and embraced by that sound. It becomes so multidimensional, and you feel it. So that's why I always like to say that when I do a performance, it's not just a concert that it's one-sided where the audience comes in and just listens, but it's experiential and it's give and take. I get as much from the audience as hopefully they get from what I'm doing.
That is the ultimate scenario in life when you're doing that, isn't it? Where it's a symbiotic relationship. Everybody is getting something from the experience. It's also one of my favorite things, and I mentioned it on the show. I love, as much as, we do things singularly, I love communal experiences as well. And what a communal, that sound just automatically, though it has an independent sound to it, it has a communal, larger than us sound, almost as if we're talking about the universe, the ocean, things that are larger than us, yet we are a part of it collectively in a unified way. It has just that sound that sort of elevates, lifts you higher to a higher consciousness, so to speak. That's what I get from it. All of a sudden, I'm transported from other sounds that I hear during the course of the day, and it becomes a very dominant sound. Just even what you just did there, it just sweeps over, and okay, sure, let's go. Take my hand, and I'm going with you. That's how I feel when I hear that. I hear something larger than myself, something, like you say, could you imagine hearing that in an experience where maybe there's visuals, or you're just outside and you're seeing things visually outside, the breadth and depth of what that gives. So that's what I'm getting from that larger than me experience, and a depth that goes beyond the typical sounds that you hear in everyday life.
And that's not to say that I don't rock out.
Yes.
I can crank it up for, put on some distortion. Actually, you mentioned in my bio a commission that I had from Symphony Space a number of years ago, and I brought on as a collaborator the incredible beatboxer Razel.
Oh, yeah.
And so we began this collaboration that became this composition that is semi-improvised, semi-composed, called Beats Per Revolution. And it includes, it's a chamber ensemble, jazz band, hip hop band. It's all in there, and you hear it all throughout. Check it out, folks. It's on it's on YouTube. It's a really cool piece. Beats Per Revolution. It was inspired by beats, as in beatboxer, the Beat Generation. So we have some jazz from that era. Beats Revolution, as in, you know, going off to fight a revolution. It's always led by drums, and it used to be led by drums and beats. So that's where the title came from. Just like, you know, we used to have 45 RPMs, revolutions per minute, right? 33s, 78s, even some people remember. So that all became, I like to play with titles. So Beats Per Revolution came out of that, with Tony Agnello.
Yes, Tony, welcome. Did you want to rock out a little bit with it? Do you want to give us a sample of that?
I can do that a little bit.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And because I have the power.
You have the power.
So yeah, actually, yeah. June is right. We met. That
Dr.
was
John.
Yeah. We did a recording session for Dr. John. I got a string section together to play with that song. That was amazing. So, all right, here we go. Gonna rock out a little bit.
So cool. Yeah, and that's what Tony says. Rock out. Yes, she can. Welcome, Tony, to the Jim Master Show Live. Cool to have you here. Thanks for joining us, Tony.
Tony is a brilliant guy. He's gonna kill me for saying this, though. He's the president of Eventide, and he's one of the people responsible for making me sound like this. And so imagine.
Well, he's a master then, because it's an incredible sound. Absolutely.
Let's see. I'm not going to drop the mic. Hang on one second. That's on me, folks. That was my headphones cutting out. So if I can't hear. I don't know if you're hearing. So
yeah, we hear it. Yeah, we hear that. Yeah. That is cool. That little part at the end, it almost sounded like cars speeding by. It's amazing, the sounds that can, I mean, even from a sound effect point of view, the sounds that the instrument can make are extraordinary.
Absolutely. And this is where, again, you know, this expands my my landscape of sound, my sonic environment. Because again, if I just pluck, that's quite nice, right? I can play Bach. And then I can play Bach. And so I could just sit here all night and just, plug in different effects and it would sound different.
So how do you describe, maybe for the lovely viewers, some of the effects, like what we just heard there? Maybe you can play with some of the effects and say, this is this is
Right.
that. That would be cool.
Yeah. And that's what I do. I sit here and I pluck one note, and actually that's I just created a whole sample pack for music producers and songwriters and composers on Splice of these sounds, some of these sounds, so that because people love integrating that into their music as well.
Yeah.
So for example, okay, so
a lot of them are making connections with wildlife and nature and animals. They're hearing that a lot too. And some of the sounds almost mimicking sounds dolphins and whales make, and some of the sounds nature makes as well. Have you heard that before?
Exactly. Yes, actually. And I know, for example, the harmonics, right? If I click this button, it sounds like.
That's very cool.
And even. So I can go from sound effects to a symphony in from zero, as they say, 0 to 60.
Zero to 60, quicker than Ferrari. That is cool, and it's amazing. It can go from being a very one-on-one solo-esque sort of feeling and sound and essence to a full orchestral sound. But one thing that it definitely is very enveloping. It feels you're feeling very enveloped in it. Some of the viewers have been saying that. You referenced that a little bit as well. There is this enveloping nature to it, which is quite amazing. You know what I mean?
So I'm curious, how many people are listening with headphones, and how many people are listening on their computer, the computer speakers, or I don't know, your iPad or whatever your mobile device is. It really depends. And in my
sounds awesome in the headphones. Sounds really good in the headphones.
It's because this is, look, you have to start from something that sounds good and put it. This is all my instrument. That's what I show you. This whole thing is my instrument. It's not just this one, but this is all responsible for me sounding like how I sound. So, I've had people come up to me and say, "Oh, I want to play electric violin. I bought a cheap, crappy violin, and I'm so excited to play it, with an amplifier." And I said, "Well, you know what happens when you amplify something that sounds really crappy?"
Sounds crappier.
Loud. It sounds crappy loud. So it's got to be quality going through that, and I'm always cognizant of that. And my particular approach to playing is I use stereo effects, which is why it sounds so much fuller in the headphones, and you can hear the real distance and the imagery going
sort of that
going
reverb,
through.
that echoey reverb, continuing on effect that sort of floats off and fades out on its own, the extended sound, which I think gives it, a fullness as well. I just want to show you some of the audience. The viewers are commenting. Linda in Florida is listening with the headphones. Maureen is watching on her television computer, blown away by what she's hearing. Juanita in South Africa on the headphones. Tony says the headphones. Sherry London, headset on her computer. June is with the headphones as well. So they're all, they're into it. Ethereal, Sherry London says, I agree, absolutely. And Merlin asks, is that a looper?
Yes. So in other times I will have a second camera that you can, a pedal cam, but I don't, it's underneath here. But yes, I use an RC300. So it's a stereo looper, and I can make 3 separate loops at the same time. And that's really a big part of how I can sound like an ensemble, like a chamber ensemble, or like an orchestra.
Yeah, and when you do have other instruments, live instruments with you, and playing off that, or even vocalists, it's really amazing, right? A jam session must be incredible.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I'm actually missing in
Is the
these
ability
times,
to do that. Yeah.
because I don't know if your listeners are familiar with latency, because when
Yes.
if you are all on a Zoom call and you all counted to 10 at what you thought was the same time, it wouldn't be at the same time. You
No,
would be surprised.
all the
So,
delay and
yeah, so it really we haven't come to that point where I can have my string quartet do a rehearsal or do a live performance without having that little bit of latency, and that can really throw you off, especially when you're working with with complicated or complex rhythms. So that's also opportunity. Well, then we have to figure out another way that we can play together, and that's one thing that I've been doing is adaptive works, especially for schools and for people that want to be able to play together, but you can't get that 1, 2, 3, 4 like a conductor would, right? So, but you can blend sounds, and you can experiment with textures. That's another thing that often musicians forget, that textures is a big part of making music. And I include that a lot. And textures, when I'm working with the electronics, it just becomes a whole other, exactly, a whole other galaxy.
Yeah, spaceship just flew by. Yeah, that's cool. It's amazing. Yeah, we're hearing a lot of wildlife and nature, and then of course the universe, and again, things larger than ourselves. Sometimes we get in the way of ourselves too much, too often in a everyday life, and music can really sweep us away into other conscious thinking in a really beautiful way, right?
Well, that's if you allow yourself. Oftentimes we try to have so much control over
Everything.
I mean, it's good to have control, but sometimes it's good to be able to let it go. And I'm just giving an example of working with the Tibet House Benefit Concert every year. So I've gotten to meet a lot of really wonderful musicians through that, including people that I've gone on to collaborate with, and one in particular, Tenzin Choegyal, who is he has Tibetan. He's actually living in Australia. He has this incredible voice. What an instrument he has. And we started just sort of backstage at Carnegie Hall and in rehearsals, just kind of playing together, and realized we had a kind of a bond, a musical and a spiritual bond. And so we went into the studio along with Jessie Paris Smith, who plays the glass gongs, and they're gorgeous. And we recorded a piece that really it's a meditation, but it really I even listen to it. I don't often listen to my own music to get soothed and calmed, but I know people have told me that when they meditate, they put that particular piece on. It's Gate Gate, and so that is a place that I discovered because of working with these two different collaborators. Just like when I worked with Razel, I discovered another landscape.
That
So
is cool.
that's the beauty of collaboration, is you discover these other sounds and worlds that you might not have found otherwise.
Absolutely. What do you find within yourself? How are you, like the viewers, the Lovedies are talking about how they're being transported. How does it transport you as you're performing it? What happens to you as you're doing it?
I realize, because I try to video a lot of the performances that I do, is that a lot of the time I'm playing with my eyes closed, which you can't really do that when you're trying to read Mozart symphony or
Yeah.
a Tchaikovsky serenade. But in the nature of what I'm doing, when I'm doing my own performances and it's my own music, I can take liberties of improvisation and I can go off on tangents. It's like a jam band, like Fish or like the Grateful Dead, right? You can have a song, and on the record, the song is 6 minutes long, but when they do it live, it can be 12 or half an hour long, right? And so if I get in the zone and my eyes are closed and I can feel the energy from the audience, and I'll run with that, and then I'll wake up and usually a few minutes later, and sort of come back into reality.
Yeah.
With everybody.
Yeah, so you're being transported as well, and wherever it takes you, and that can be really hard to even put in words, right? The feelings, because it's like mind, body, and spirit all unify into one, and it's just extraordinary.
Yeah. And I encourage people to listen. In fact, I have a class at New Jersey City University that I teach, and every week is something different. And this past week we were doing listening versus hearing, and what's the difference between listening and hearing? There's a big difference.
There's a big difference, right.
And and then we went even further to deep listening and experiencing sound through other parts of your body. There's a composer, Pauline Oliveros, who came up with the concept of deep listening, and she has created these tuning meditations and sonic meditations, and really it's about listening. It's creating sound, but it's combining, where you becoming one with the audience, with the performers. And she even has something where walk late at night in the forest and walk so softly that the bottoms of your feet become ears.
What an interesting way to describe it. Sometimes I feel that when I'm walking barefoot on a beach, and the sensations I'm feeling may sound crazy, but some of the real energy of the earth, and especially when it's a beach, when it's sand, it's near the ocean, life and tide and everything. We talk a lot about our Zen places, the ocean, growing up here on the coast, sort of blessed because we have the ocean at our beck and call. But I get that real connected feeling through music. And when I'm walking barefoot on the beach near the ocean, you probably understand what I mean by that, huh?
Yeah. And it's like when you go out dancing, right? Or when we used to go back in the day, we used to go out to clubs. Now we dance with our headphones on or whatever. But the whole thing is the vibe of feeling the bass, right? Feeling the bass, the bottom end of the spectrum through your body. And sometimes you don't even need any more music than just feeling the bass, right? Or the drums, because that's a feeling. We don't think about that. You don't have to be listening with your ears. And in fact, I'll also have my students look at this incredible TED Talk by Evelyn Glennie, who is she's a percussionist from the UK, and she's deaf. She's been deaf since she was a child, and she is an amazing musician. And she has a TED Talk that is called "How to Truly Listen." And if you want to know how to listen truly, listen to somebody like Evelyn Glennie that can tell you how to really fully, I would say fully listen, not just truly listen. And that's when it becomes an experience, and that's when it gets elevated to a whole other dimension.
What do you like to listen to? Who are the artists? What kinds of music, maybe genres, or do you like to sample a little of everything?
I have different playlists, and it depends. In the morning, I have a playlist that I call Warm and Fuzzy. And that's just, it's a lot of, songs from my childhood or that I liked listening to. And that just make me feel comfortable. It's like, like having mashed potatoes.
Oh my God. Uh-oh. Yeah, that's it. You're right. That's my favorite. I said, if God ever said to me, Jim, I'm going to banish you to an island all by yourself, and there's only one food you can pick forever, it's mashed potatoes. Comfort food. Food for the soul. Right. Comfort.
Yeah. So often I'll start my day with that. And then usually in the middle of the day, I'll find, because I don't get enough exercise, otherwise, I'll put on, I have a playlist of, what do I call it? It's all salsa music, basically. And I call it Carnival, because all the songs have to do with Carnival. I got Ricky Martin and Celia Cruz and all these amazing singers and Shakira. And I'll just dance in my living room. And so that inevitably will also break up my mood if I'm feeling not exceptionally great. And I'll put that on, and the clouds go away, and I'll end up dancing, and so it's good. It's aerobic exercise, and it clears the mind. And so I can go from the B-52s to Elton John to Billy Joel to to Ricky Martin and R&B, and Anita Baker is one of my favorites, and Sade, and there's so many wonderful musicians that are in the new generation that are just creating new sounds. And Phoebe Bridgers, I've worked with her a couple of times, and I'm a fan of hers as well. Oh, they call them stands now, I just realized.
Yes. Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah. Did you want to play some more for us? People are like, oh my God, I love that sound.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Let me get up way. So I've got lots of pedals, and I always I have to make sure I have the right combination of sounds going on.
Yeah. Is there something specific you look for?
So this is I'm going to play a piece called Cafe Mars. It's one of my greatest hits. And actually it was created with the original version is on a CD that's called Boeing. Cafe Mars is the name of the CD, and that's the name of the piece. And I co-wrote it with a really wonderful friend of mine. We're brothers and sisters from different mothers. Randy Hudson, and we have a duo that's called Boeing, because Randy plays guitar with an ebow. So sometimes he'll sound more like a bowed string instrument, and I'll sound more like, if I kick on some distortion, I'll sound like Jimi Hendrix.
Wow, that's very cool.
So let's see.
It's kind of cool because people can actually see the process, things you're doing, and what it's like. Yeah.
I'm clicking on these pedals because I have I have my music score. Even that I've played this probably 10,000 times, I still like to have it in front of me, and that's the bass line there, and that tells me what number that I've got. Okay, that's enough. And there's all kinds of things that go on in there. The full piece is 15 minutes, and it's really amazing with the guitar and all the effects of both of us. But I learned, because I'm a looper, that I could actually do a shorter version of this piece, so you can still get an idea.
You're not just a looper, Martha. You're a lovety looper. There's a difference.
I'm a lovety looper.
Lovety looper.
I'll have to get the T-shirt.
I know they're being produced as we speak.
So here goes my bass envy.
Okay, Martha Mooke on the Jim Master Show live. That is really, really cool. That is really, really cool. God.
Thank you, Cafe Mars.
Yeah, the first elements and then coming back full circle to the end part, I automatically think of sort of like almost like the theme to sort of James Bond, a detective movie, some mystery thriller sort of feeling to it. I get that immediately when I hear that doon, 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 sort of that mystery. And look, the lovelies around the world watching the Jim Masters Show live have lots to say. June, of course, wonderful. Austin Field watching says really cool music. Juanita in South Africa says claps, claps, claps. And Crystal Nolan watching in Connecticut says very amazing. And yeah, love that, love that, love that. Magical. Yeah, majestic, magical. That's really cool. Terry says beautiful and mesmerizing.
Thanks, Terry.
Yeah, I think that's great. What is some of the feedback you get from people when they hear this music? Maybe even for the first time they hear these sounds and they're like, wow, I want more. I love it.
That's the thing that I've always encountered ever since I started making music in this realm, is that you can't really describe it. And in fact, the best way that I can tell you is when I put out my first CD, Enharmonic Vision, way back before the turn of the century, and when there was still Tower Records.
Oh, I used to spend hours thumbing through Tower Records with the headphones, sampling the music.
Exactly. So that was the place where I brought my CD, because I was so naive. Sometimes it's good to be naive. And I brought my CD to the manager of the classical section, because I didn't know what section to go to. And I said, can you sell this? And he didn't laugh. He said, okay, I'll have a listen. And then a couple of days later, he said, yeah, I'll bring in 5. I'll take them, and we'll put him in the listening station.
Yeah.
And he put it in between Philip Glass and the Kronos Quartet in the listening station. And in a few days later, he said, bring me 5 more, because it's sold out.
Wow.
So that was the thing, is that people had to listen to it, because you can't really describe it. And I can try, but that's what maybe, if anything, has held me back in my life. It's describing my music. So but I've had people tell me that it's aligned their chakras, or I've even had people say it brought back some childhood memories, or they've had a pain in their gut because of it.
Yeah.
And
healing
actually,
properties.
Yeah. And I apologize if it caused them any inconvenience or agitation or anything, but really you cannot get a higher compliment than for somebody to tell you that they've experienced your music in a deeper level than only through their ears.
Right. Going to the mind, body, and spirit, like we say. And music is definitely a universal language and has a lot of healing properties, and can evoke so many different emotions, and different emotions for each person too. It's not always, sometimes we think it's the same emotion for every person. You could read the same book, you could look at the same painting on a wall in a museum, look at the same piece of sculpture, and all get different things out of it. And I think that's why it's so important that everybody come to the table. We unify, we're together, not be so divisive, not say, well, I'm only going to hang with the people that look and sound like me and think like me. No, because if that would be very boring, because like I say, you can have so many different takes on life and so many different nuances and aspects. And that's a beautiful thing, because it expands the horizons greatly for all of us. How many times can you listen to a piece of music? I know when I listen to things multiple times, I'll hear something different every single time. Oh, wow, I didn't notice the triangle. He comes in right at that right moment. Ding. I didn't hear that before, because I was concentrated on the cello or the guitars or the percussion. But that triangle comes in just at that right time. So coming to the table, unification, music has a way of doing that. Like humor does too. Levity and humor has a way of bringing people together and sort of unifying. And it's a great universal language, isn't it? In so many different ways when we allow it to be.
Yeah, and I think the thing that when we realize, like you said, everybody can interpret. You go into a museum and you interpret visual art differently. And same thing with music. And so, like, I've gone through my career. I'm classically trained, and yet I'm as comfortable playing, rock and roll, playing hip hop, playing jazz, playing all other styles of music. I respect them all. Maybe I like some better than others, but I'm as comfortable playing because I have created different ways of playing depending on what it is what the music is that I'm playing. And actually, that's a really good lead in to what I have just started to call multi-style strings. As a violist, as a acoustic, as an electric violist, and always being called, well, if you're not playing classical, then you're playing something alternative to classical, or you're playing something that's eclectic. And I have to, keep telling them, look, when I write music, I'm not writing alternative music or eclectic music. I am writing music. It comes from my soul and my experiences. And so that's where I came up with multi-style strings. And again, we're talking about opportunity, if I might just sort of talk a little bit about the program that I now have the opportunity to create. It never existed before, multi-style strings.
Congratulations. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. At New Jersey City University, and I have to give them all the credit in the world for being open-minded to bring somebody like myself in to grow. They have a great music department, and they wanted to grow the string department. And I said, well, I'm seeing the future of music, and I think we need to diversify. They have a great, actually diversified student body here anyway. Lots of different styles and cultures going on. And now we're starting to bring, people are coming in from all over the world to study at this program, because they can study classical and jazz and rock and electronics and improvise. And when they walk out with their degree a few years later, they will know how to play all these different styles, which will make it easier for them to get work, obviously, or they can create their own ensembles. And also showing them how to be entrepreneurial. I told you I just released that sample pack, and I get royalties from that. That's another income stream, and we have to think like that. We can't just graduate from a music school and think that we're, just going to have a job in an orchestra or the opera company or ballet, wherever.
It's a business as much, yeah.
So it's about diversification and being able to play different styles. I mean, the first time I went into a recording session with a hip hop artist, and it was with a string quartet, and they kept saying, "Can you swing it?" And nobody could, because they were all classical players. They didn't know what it meant to swing, because they were playing exactly what the notes were on the page.
Right, exactly. So you have the ability, which is extraordinary, to be able to do both. Yeah. Is there one that speaks to you more? Are you more the one that likes to stick to the page, or is Martha more of the one who likes to create something that doesn't necessarily exist on the page?
Well, yeah. When given the choice, when I was in school, if I'd given the choice to write a book report about a book or write my own book, guess what I did?
She wrote her own book.
I did, and I keep doing that. I keep writing my own music and creating new things. And sometimes I have to, channel back a little bit, because you create these things, and to see them through, you need to put some time into developing them and evolving them. But I have a creative soul, and somebody asked me once, how would you, if you had just a couple of words to say what you are in this world? I guess I would say I'm a creative instigator.
I like that. That's a cool way to say it. Yes. Yeah. I like that.
And that's what I try to bring out in my students. And I do a lot of workshops for teachers as well. And, it's diving in there. I have a workshop that's called, "Am I Allowed to Do That?" because literally I go into a music program and I ask the students to just play something. It doesn't matter what the instrument is, and as if we're having a conversation, and I'll play something really crazy because if I'm sounding crazy first, then they're more apt to open up. And I had one student that looked around to see if the teacher was watching. Like, am I allowed to do that?
Right.
So that's what I call the workshop. And yes, you are allowed to do that. At least when I'm in the room with you, you are allowed to explore other sounds and dimensions of textures and so I was playing with the stick of the bow, a percussive kind of sound. Sometimes I play with my hands as if I'm playing a percussion instrument. And so I like experimenting with sounds and creating new things. I experiment with different tunings. And so I just, what then if I experiment and I create something new, of course, what I have to do is figure out how somebody else can then perform it, or how I can describe it to somebody else so they can continue the process.
That's incredible, to be able to pay it forward in the way that you do as an educator. It's one of the great gifts, is to not only be the performer, but an educator who can really mentor and inspire and guide others along the way as they're trying to find who they are and find their sound and their essence as well. That gives a great joy to do that, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's nothing more amazing than seeing, what I talked about, the emoji, the light bulb emoji, and seeing that light bulb emoji go off in a student's head. And sometimes they're not so into it, but other times they're like, wow, I didn't know that I could play under the hood of the piano, that I could strum the strings inside the piano, or that I could pluck my violin or viola, or hit it, or do other kind of sounds to it, and give them some tools. I just did a workshop for teachers called Tools for Your Multi-Style String Toolbox, because they don't know even how to get started, from plugging in an instrument to plugging in an amp. They think they're going to blow things up.
Yeah.
They don't know what pedals to use. So I give them advice and suggestions. But more than that, I also give them, this is where you can look for it, because everything is on the internet. You can Google anything.
Right.
And who to ask. So I'll say, these are the people that are doing these styles. You should look them up and ask them. Bring them into your school, like, do a master class or a workshop. And that's it, just sharing.
Marty Thompson, who's also a wonderful performer, originally from Australia, lives in Nashville. He said he had the wonderful honor of meeting violinist Vanessa May. Have you ever teamed up with others and shared the stage, whether they're violinists, violists, cellists? I'm sure, you've had opportunities to.
Absolutely, yeah. In fact, I mentioned Laurie Anderson, who is somebody that was so influential in my life, and I've gotten to perform with her a number of times, including a duo that we did on the stage at Carnegie Hall a number of years ago, and we did a duo concert last year, just a month or two before this whole thing started, in Brooklyn at this wonderful gallery, and also last year, just a few weeks before we couldn't go anywhere, I was down in Orlando, Florida, at the American String Teachers Association National Conference, on stage with amazing colleagues, and we were playing everything from Santana music, and I did a whole introduction to Black Magic Woman, and then I have a wonderful colleague, Jesus Florido, who's a Latin jazz fiddler, and Joe Denenzone, who's another colleague of mine, electric violin, and Mark Wood and Tracy Silverman,
Tracy Silverman, yes,
he's amazing.
Huh? Yeah,
and
does a lot with Jim Brickman too.
Yes,
right. He's a friend.
Yeah, and so these are all colleagues and friends, and we love getting together and doing jam sessions and playing off of each other and catching up and sharing each other's. Each one of us has different experiences, and so that's what we do at these conferences. And so if somebody's telling me they want to learn how to do the chop or strum bowing, I'll send them right to Tracy or Daryl Anger, or there's wonderful jazz cellist Renata Bratt and Julie Lyon Lieberman, who's got so many books on playing different styles of strings. And I'm happy to put all their names out, because they're all wonderful in their own way. And share the love and let everybody know that these resources are available. And there's some amazing school programs going on. We were supposed to be out in Louisville, Kentucky, and there's a colleague of mine, Corey Zilish, that has an amazing program in a middle school where it started with just a dozen or so string players, and now he's got over 200 string players. Because he's got electric instruments, and he's teaching them how to jam and play an orchestra playing with a drum kit. So it really is opening up the experience, and they're getting to have an appreciation for all these different styles. And that's what's going to keep music evolving and going forward.
Absolutely. Austin Field says, another excellent show. Thank you, Austin. And Kathleen Walker in New York. Loved hearing you play your music. Very cool. That's a jam I'd like to see. Marty Thompson says, Juanita is asking, how many CDs do you have out that people are able to get?
Thank you for asking. So I have my first solo CD is called Enharmonic Vision. And all these you can download from Amazon. Also on Bandcamp. If you want to support the artist, go to bandcamp.com. And I've got a bunch of CDs and recordings, including this is one of my latest, No Ordinary Window. And you can download the digital version of that. I have another one that's called Buzz. That is, thank you, with it's actually made with sounds of nature, with insects. And it's not listed under my name because I created a name called Superfam Membricordia Collective. And it's other musicians that, including Tony Levin, who performs with, is an amazing bass player, Chapman stick player, King Crimson and all, and Pauline Oliveros, Deep Listening, and look
at this one.
That's Enharmonic Vision. Yeah, that's my first solo CD. So I, collaborating with nature, and both processed and and the raw sound. So yeah, all these are available.
The artwork is great on these. The artistry, you have some great people that do it.
I think it's important. It just like when I go on stage, it's important how I present myself, and because it's all, and I discovered that the very first time I ever went to a Cirque du Soleil production, where the performance starts as soon as you hand your ticket over
automatically, right?
And you're walking through even before you get to your seat, and the stage hands, they're all dressed in costumes, and the entire experience from the very beginning to the very moment that you walk out of the theater or the venue, and that made a big impact on me. And that's what again, that's part of the performance experience. That's how I like to call my concerts, experiences, as opposed to just concerts, music
concerts. Love this shot too. We use that in the promo piece. That's cool.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a building. Actually, that building sadly got painted over. That was this art building in Brooklyn, I think, and the whole building was covered in this gorgeous graffiti. This is from actually a video I did called Terminal Baggage. And you can look at it it's on YouTube, and I'm actually, it was shot of me walking along a railroad track, and I didn't realize that it was actually an active railroad track until the police came and said, you really probably shouldn't be walking on that railroad track.
A little different version of electro-acoustic.
Exactly. Watch that third rail there.
Right. That's right. And her next album is going to be called Third Rail. Here's a cool one too. Now, tell me about this.
Oh, thank you. So one of the things about being a Bowie alumni player is there's some wonderful band members that get together, and this was a production that was put together by Mike Garson, who is Bowie's longtime keyboard and pianist and collaborator for over 40 years. And I got to play with them live a couple of times. And this past year, because of COVID, it had to be virtual. And Mike produced this amazing production with all these different members of Bowie bands from throughout the years, and special guest Duran Duran did something, and Peter Frampton, and just really some amazing music going on. So it's an honor that I'm going to have for the rest of my life, is being a part of that Bowie alumni family. And this was okay. So I got to tour Latin America in December, but it was a virtual tour. And I have to thank John Crivet through the Audio Engineering Society that hooked me up with the Estudiantes chapters. And so I did, I think it was 6 different performances, each one in a different venue, and it was all students and I tried to do it in Spanish. I speak a little bit of Spanish. So that was a great way to see other parts, virtually see other parts of the world, and get to know new friends. I made a lot of new friends that way. And so I've been doing a lot of virtual traveling. I was in Colorado the other day, and let's see, I've been to Haiti. This is a pet project of mine. I called it Burning Down Brandenburg. And this was based around the Johann Sebastian Bach Brandenburg Concerto No. 6. And I run a forum on Facebook that's called Violas on the Verge. And so, and we did a version of this concerto, Brandenburg Concerto, that sort of melted down in the middle of it and became a version of Burning Down the House. But of course, we called it Burning Down the Bach.
Very cool. That's really, really cool. Here's another.
That's Laurie and I on stage at Carnegie Hall. And this is so unbelievable. BBC published this as one of their most favorite pictures of the day in the world. And so, I have this framed.
That's incredible.
Was a magical moment of just, Laurie and I on stage, just really conversing. You talk about being in another world. I had no idea there was an audience there, or that we were in Carnegie Hall. It was just the two of us in this sound world, and Laurie gets these amazing sounds through her electric violin, so that was a workshop I did for Berklee College of Music.
Boston.
Yes, another virtual. I've been there in person, but this year was virtual. And David Wallace, who's another wonderful violist, is the head of the string department there. That brought me in to talk to their players, and that's Berklee. I've modeled my program a little bit from Berklee, because they're multi-styles for sure, and they, without even saying it. And I think that's the goal, is to one day not have to say multi, just like to not have to say a woman composer or a woman conductor, or an underrepresented composer, or whatever.
Just a composer.
Just say, this is a composer, this is a wonderful conductor, this is a wonderful artist. You don't have to specify.
Exactly. Ooh.
This was a series over the summer that Eventide held, that I think they thought it was only going to be maybe a few weeks, and it ended up being months, that they called Quarantine. And I hosted a number of them. And this was the one after the release of the recording Buzz, Music in Harmony with Nature. And we have composer Victoria Bond, and my producer Cynthia Daniels, David Rothenberg on the saxophone and clarinet, playing amidst the cicadas there. Rex Cockcroft, who is the one that recorded all these insect sounds. And we had somebody, Matthew Shepard from the Xerces Society. We had wonderful conversations that was available on YouTube and on the Eventide site. And I hosted a number of them. Another one with a Bowie alumni band with Mike Garson up there, and Carmine Rojas, amazing bass player, Tim Lefebvre and Donnie McCaslin, who played on Bowie's last last recording just before he passed, and Mark Platty, guitarist, and it was just an amazing conversation. Everybody, had different stories of of their time with Bowie, and what they've all been doing since then. And these are some shots from the recording session actually a few weeks ago with Phoebe Bridgers, who, if anybody saw Saturday Night Live, they also saw her smash her guitar.
Yes.
And that's us. So last year we played together at Tibet House, and we started this thing with the rock and roll hands, and that's us in the engineering room there at Electric Lady Studios, of course, with our masks on.
Very cool.
And Philip Glass, that was in the lower left hand of that.
Yeah, right there.
And Jackson Browne.
Yeah.
So everybody go find that on YouTube. It's a beautiful song, and I'm very proud I did the string arrangement. That's my quartet, all in masks, Scorchio.
Congratulations. Job well done. How about this?
That's my latest recording, and actually I designed this cover.
Did you really?
And that
makes me think of a kaleidoscope right away when I look at it.
It is exactly.
Yeah.
I used a kaleidoscope effect because there is an insect that is called a tree hopper, and I used that and I created a kaleidoscope effect out of that. So that is actually an insect that you're looking at, and I call it my tree hopper mandala. And so there's some wonderful sounds on there as well.
It's really beautiful. It's very, very cool. And how long did it take you to design that?
When I set my mind to something, I can do it pretty quickly.
She did it overnight.
Actually, I pretty much did. I don't think I left my chair until I had it done, because it was something I wanted to put it out quickly, because actually if you buy the download on Bandcamp under the Superfam Memorcordia Collective, all the proceeds go to the Xerces Society.
Oh, that's terrific. Now tell folks what that is.
That is for the conservation and the preservation of insects, butterflies. So it's really important.
Bees too, because honeybees are going away, and
yes, invertebrates. Yep.
I really think it's cool that you gave it that kaleidoscope effect, my friend, because there's nothing better than a kaleidoscope. When you were talking, I scooted out to get my childhood kaleidoscope, and I think I see the cover of your album in there.
Yep, for sure. I think that's a it's an alternate way of listening. That you don't need any external things. Just get a kaleidoscope and put the music on your headphones, and there you go. You get transported.
Whoever came up with the creation of a kaleidoscope, a genius, I tell you. That and the GAF Viewmaster, that was cool as a kid too. How about this?
Oh, that's my the latest incarnation of my sample pack. So I've created, I think, a total of 148 samples. Some of them just a one-off, or anywhere from 4 to 8 measures, and this is what people can download. You have to be a member of it. There's because I get a royalty, so thank you very much. And you can actually.
It's because you are royalty.
Thank you. So are you, Jim. And you can now incorporate my sounds into your music, basically. So there you go.
Wow, that is cool. That's a whole new thing of recent years with the technology and everything, right? That has been a plus, the ability to do something like that, which you could never really have done, and anybody that's not even necessarily a musician necessarily can do for projects and things. And that's cool.
Yeah. And that came out of, guess, hip hop culture and DJing and scratching and playing samples, and that became a way of another creative instigation.
Yes, there you go. Now here you go.
Okay, that's the close up with Phoebe and my string quartet, Scorchio, and we're all wearing Medicine Buddha masks.
Very cool.
And
Iggy Pop, right? Performing with Iggy Pop. What was that like?
Oh, amazing. We've performed with him 3 or 4 times, and he's a different person backstage, and when he gets out on stage and he becomes Iggy Pop, all bets are off.
Yeah.
But we just have a great time, and he's super talented and so smart and funny. So it's a joy. Peter Gabriel got to play with him when he did his tour with the orchestra, and I have to give so much credit to the John Metcalf, who's his orchestrator, arranger, because he just turned Peter Gabriel's music that that you were accustomed to listen to rock bands just into this super symphonic world that just encaptures. You talk about being embraced, and so I stay in touch with him just because I consider him a mentor as well.
Absolutely. Here's another.
He came up to me, said, "Hi, my name is Dave." I said, "Yeah, I know that."
Dave Matthews from the Dave Matthews Band, right?
That was at the very first Tibet House concert that I played in 2001. That was where I got to play with Bowie for the first time as well.
That is incredible.
So some amazing memories. Star Wars in Concert was a tour that I did for about 3-month tour, 2009 and 10 throughout the U.S. and Mexico. Anthony Daniels, who plays C-3PO in all of the Star Wars films.
Oh yeah,
that's him standing there on the left. He was the narrator.
Wow.
And we toured with an 80-piece orchestra because that was the only way that John Williams would give his blessing to this tour and to allow his music to be played. And so it was just a spectacular show with lasers and smoke, and they showed some of the it was the first 6 films, I think. There weren't, this was already a number of years ago, so a few films have come out in between that. But Anthony would cross the stage and talk about, he would introduce the scene, and then we would play the music. I still remember playing Yoda's theme or Princess Leia's theme, or the march that everybody knows. We would end with the march, dun da 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 da.
Yeah, exactly. Here's another cool shot.
So
Enya.
Yes.
Yeah.
I got to play with her a number of times. We played on David Letterman, on Rosie O'Donnell. When the show was called Regis Philbin.
Regis and Kathy Lee.
Yes. And so she was wonderful. I've loved her music from way back. In fact, I cut I was in Europe when I got the call to play with her, and I cut that trip a little bit short, so I made sure I got back in time
to be with Enya, the wonderful Enya. That's really a cool shot. And of course Tony Bennett, which we mentioned as well, and David Bowie. This is just some of the people you've had an opportunity to work with. Here's another. This goes back too with David Bowie.
So that was at that beautiful studio up near Woodstock, and got to actually this was Labor Day weekend 2001, just a few days before 9/11. And so I actually was in the studio with David the weekend before, and then I went back up a few days later when things were still, because we had more recording to do. But it was just an amazing time to spend in the studio with David, and having meals and talking and joking. Another person that was just so super smart and funny, and had some really great stories.
Really, really cool. You've had a wonderful opportunity to collaborate and be with so many extraordinary talents like yourself as well. Did you want to play us one more piece of music before we get ready to wrap up? Love to go out on something that you have in your mind.
Let's see what I can do here.
Yeah. All great comments coming in here. Everybody loving it and really enjoying themselves. And Juanita said it was a beautiful idea to give back to nature and create awareness. If the bees go, we all go.
Yes.
So many captivating songs and music to listen to. Marty asks a question here about that song, about that piece of music, one of his favorite haunting pieces.
No.
Have you ever played that before?
No, I haven't. Albinoni, no, he's a wonderful, famous composer, but no, I'm not familiar with that piece.
Yeah. What would you like to do for us now, my friend?
Oh, I will. I'm just going to do an improvisation, just because I'm feeling the spirit move me.
Mm-hmm. Feeling the levity, right?
I'll call it the levity improv.
Oh, I love that. The levity improv on the Jim Master Show Live. That is beautiful. That was the world premiere exclusive of the Levity Improv. Really, really nice. You know, when you and that's extra looping. That was a bonus. That was an encore.
Those are some of the sounds that, I mean, this crystals is one of my favorites. It's just.
That's a really, yeah, that's a really cool sound as well. Awesome from Kathleen Walker. Love the Levity Improv from Juanita in South Africa. Kathleen in New York says, awesome. And Sherry says, thank you so much, Martha, for sharing your musical talent.
Thanks, Sherry.
And Maureen says, wow, I definitely don't just hear the music. I feel it.
That's good.
Another
Thank you.
world debut just for us.
Indeed.
Breathtaking from June. And Rhonda Murphy, good to see you, Rhonda, says cool. And Tony enjoying it too. Thanks, Jim and Martha. Tony, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Tony.
Yeah. Anybody on the YouTube channel, we'd love it if you subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell so you don't miss any of the content. We're here live 7 days a week with the Jim Master Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series. Carla in Brazil says, Martha, thank you for sharing your precious moments with us. And Mr. Lovety, thanks for one more wonderful show. My pleasure, Carla, there in South America. We always love when you're tuned in to the show. Sherry London, double smiles. Really nice. Terry says, wonderful way to spend the evening, too. And
Thanks, Terry.
I agree. I agree 100%. And also saying, this has been an awesome evening. Martha, thank you for sharing your music and your story with us. Your music is amazing. Thank you, Jim, for a wonderful night. Well, Anne, thank you. I appreciate that too. And she's in Florida. Merlin, this has been a joy to meet you and your lovely music. Thank you. She's in Canada. It is our pleasure as well. And so many captivating songs and music to listen to as well. Really, really nice. And then Marty had that comment, which we talked about earlier. What are some of the things that, and Jennifer Barry is very zen in Allentown, Pennsylvania right now. What are some of the things that continue to bring you the great joy and blessing and inspiration to be able to not only play the music, but compose it and share it with all of us?
I'm always on the lookout for new opportunities, for collaborations. Every time I meet somebody new, it's an opportunity. I think that's really, I put it out there. I put it out to the universe, and that's that's really my one of my biggest joys. Besides, sharing my experiences and what I know with students, with teachers, and helping people find their creative voices. So that's really what keeps me going. I've been busier than ever, actually, and partly because I think these are times when we've sort of turned internally, right?
Yeah.
And we've got to reach in and find and dig deep, and so I've had to do that myself, and I've had friends and colleagues, collaborate with, and so that's something that I have been doing, and now that's taken a little bit of a different direction, and I have more music to write. I have another film to score, and hopefully in the very, very near future we'll be back in person to make music together again, and I'll have my my program and my string quartet playing together. Can't wait for that to happen, and to meet all of you in person. And so
Absolutely.
please do check out my website. I've joined onto my mailing list, and so you can know when I'm doing things and putting things out as well, or follow me on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. I'm all over the zone.
Yeah, you're in the zone. Your website is terrific too. It really is very well. They did a really fantastic job with the website. Do you get a lot of people checking it out? Because you have so many. It's broken down, music as well as videos, educator projects, photos, press, and a whole host of cool things.
Yeah, I actually need to update it with what's been going on with my program at New Jersey City University, and so things go out of date so quickly. So it's always a process, and new pictures to post and more videos, and
there it is. There, yeah, for people that are looking for it. There you go. There's the actual website, and really, really cool. And again, it's your name, really. It's the Martha Mooke, and then MarthaMooke.com. Really, really cool. Hopefully, I would love it if we get to break bread, as things are, get together in person. That would really be a beautiful thing. I'd really look forward to that. And June says, yes, toast to all. I agree.
Absolutely.
And Juanita says, this was amazing. Thank you, Martha, for sharing your soul-touching music and stories with us. You've definitely gained some new fans, and keep well. And Maureen also saying, your talent is an incredible gift. I thank you for sharing it with us this evening. Be well, Martha. And
Thank you, Laurie.
good night, Mr. Loverty, and good night, Loverities, and good night,
Linda.
Martha. Thank you for sharing the music with us.
My pleasure.
And bravo as well from Marty. I hope the show met whatever expectations you had, and you enjoyed the time with me as much as I certainly have with you, Martha. This was fantastic.
Oh, for sure, Jim. Really, we could go on for another 24 hours. You have a wonderful way of making your guests feel welcome and comfortable, and I thank you for that.
It is my pleasure. It was really a delight to have you with us, and sharing all of this, the beauty of your music and the beauty of your heart and soul through your music. It's really very impactful and meaningful, and we wish you nothing but continued success. We'll keep the porch light on for you, and I do hope we get a chance to break bread in person. That'd be really cool once we're able to do all of that, because we're not that far from each other here in the New York tri-state area, and that would be awesome. And somebody else that was watching tonight that thoroughly enjoyed himself, one of my cast of characters here, George Burns, was with us tonight, and he loved it. He absolutely loved it.
Oh, thanks. Where's Gracie when you?
Where's Gracie when you need her? Exactly.
Right.
I toast you, my friend. This was a delight. Thanks for all of the time. And, we chatted for 2 hours and 15 minutes. It doesn't even feel like it, does it?
Wow. And when I get up, I will feel it.
Stretch those legs. Go get a snack.
That's for sure. I'll toast to you as well. Thank you so much, Jim. This is really wonderful to be here. I appreciate you having me on, and to meet all of your loveties and levities and wonderful, just they've been wonderful to engage with. So.
Well, my pleasure. And speaking on behalf of all of us, you're amazing. And I think a lot of people also got an opportunity to really appreciate what you do. And some new fans have been developed along the way, which is always a cool thing for any of us. And you keep up the brilliant work. And I've always admired what you've done, and hope you'll pop back soon.
Thank you so much, Jim. Everybody take care. Stay safe.
You take care, Martha. Have a good night. Bye-bye now. She not amazing or what? Maybe you were introduced to her for the very first time here on the Jim Masters Show Live. We appreciate all the time she gave us. A good introduction to some of the new things that she's working on, and some of the extraordinary experiences that she has had in her illustrious career. What I love is that not only is she a performer, but she's a brilliant producer, as well as composer of a lot of great music, like she mentioned, film scores and lots of great material. And in addition to all of that, an educator, teaching others. And she's working on some really cool programs through the college, which I think is fantastic. Always something special, always something unique, always something very cool. On the Jim Masters Show Live Entertainment Lifestyle Talk Show series. Something different every single night. A lot of work behind the scenes. Let me tell you, a lot of work. Sometimes I sleep 2 hours, but a lot of work putting these shows together nightly like this, because some people that are doing shows online now, there's nothing else going on. For me, this is a balance between doing this series and then still doing my professional work. I was on the air basically all day today, hosted 4 other shows that I do professionally. They were radio episodes, actually, with Close Up Radio today, and other interviews with all kinds of different people. So it's really cool balancing this nightly show and producing it and hosting and all the work that we do to put together, hopefully, a show that you really enjoy and that has great value, and you enjoy all of it, the production, the content, the entertainment, the information, and very involved behind the scenes putting it all together. But it's a true blessing to do it, it's almost 7 days a week for all of you. So thanks for being with us, gang. We love you all. It's always a pleasure to have you here. And we thank Martha for being with us as well. She's a brilliant artist. She's extraordinary, and you can see why she has all the accolades, and she's beloved in the industry. Really cool. The electroacoustic viola, that sound is extraordinary, and what you can do with it, right? Now you got a chance to see a little behind the scenes of how some of it works. That was just a little snippet of how some of it all works. Don't forget to smile, everybody. We always encourage you to smile, and don't forget to share the lovity. We always say that here on the show. Find your Zen place. I think all of us were in a Zen place today. Yeah, great show, great music. Enjoyed it. Thank you very much, Kathleen Walker in New York City. And very pleasant, remarkable lady, wonderful performer, Rhonda Murphy. I agree. Thank you very much for joining us, Rhonda. Marty Thompson, both of you, all class. Thank you, Marty. I appreciate that. And Jennifer Barry says, Jim, I just heard the frogs, the pond across the street just now. It's definitely spring. Yes, I think some of the music you were listening to got those frogs activated. Such a fun show tonight. Thank you very much, Jennifer. I don't know where you get the energy, Jim, but I am sure glad and thankful that you bring us such great entertainment every single day. God bless you over and over. Thank you very much, Maureen. I appreciate that. Got your email too during my busy day, and I appreciate that. And we'll keep a watch for the post office box. Thank you in advance, Maureen. Zen places. The ocean for me is one of my Zen places. Music, cycling, tennis. Of course, most of all, loving family and friends and time with them. We've been celebrating my mother's birthday, my father's birthday, St. Patrick's Day, and a lot of family time recently. So the ocean speaks to me. Swim it, surf it, boogie board it, sail it, walk it, float in it. And this is cool. And of course, my work in television and radio and stage all these years, I've loved it and continue to love it. That is a Zen place for me as well. Doing what I do what you love what you do, as I certainly have all these years, and I continue to. The Jim Masters Show Live, you can find us here, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. That's right, right here for you. And again, we'd love it if you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click the notification bell, the YouTube channel, Jim Masters TV. Share the channel too. Let everybody know that our series is here. We've got this really cool, extensive, I mean, these episodes are epic, aren't they? They're not 10-minute episodes. You really get a chance to learn about people and learn about maybe life and you know, even maybe yourself in a certain way, through the conversations, through the entertainment, through the levity, through the crazy moments and the fun moments that happen here on the Jim Masters Show Live. So we welcome you wherever you are around the world. We welcome you, and we thank you very much for all of the love and everything that you guys share with all of us. Tomorrow night, we've got more music. We have multi-instrumentalist Rachel Kaufman joining us. She's all excited. She's going to be doing live music for us. Another great night of incredible music is coming up tomorrow. Again, that's at the time of this show. If you're watching this, 6 months from now, then the calendar doesn't really matter. You could just watch them and binge watch all these shows on our YouTube channel for your pleasure. So, but those that are watching live, because if we have an audience that follows us live, you can find Rachel Kaufman joining us tomorrow. She's a multi-instrumentalist. She's award-winning and she's incredible. I love this show. Rhonda, thank you. We love that you love this show. I love that you love this show. Keep spreading the word. Keep telling everybody about the show. That helps the show. Anybody subscribe to the YouTube channel, that helps the show grow and expand, and more people can find out about it and just really enjoy it. And Rhonda, good night to you as well. We love you back. June, good night, and thank you very much, my friend June. Love you too. And Marty says, if you love your work, then it's not work at all. I agree, and Maureen concurs with that. Absolutely, absolutely. And Juanita says, we have a frog that moved into our house under the sink. Each night it sits in the cat's water bowl. Does it meow or does it go ribbit? You can get back to me on that, Juanita. Gang, we love you all. Thanks for joining us. Always a pleasure. We'll be back tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific, right here on the Jim Masters Show Live. Jim Master Show Live. We love it. You guys are the absolute best. We had John Prue, the Grammy-winning composer John Prue, on our show as well. And here's some words that he had to share.
Hi, Lovedies. It's John Prue, and I just wanted to say thank you to Jim Masters for having me on his program, and had a great time conversing, talking about all kinds of things, music, life, love, and sharing music on the show. It was a real pleasure to be on your show. Jim, thank you so much for having me, and I hope to be back on soon and to do more music and sharing stories. And you know, the time flew by. I think we were on the interview for over 2 hours, but it really felt like 15 minutes. So thank you so much, Jim, for having me on your show. Thank you to all the lovedies that tuned in and were commenting and everything. So thanks so much. I'll just do a little send-off here of the original song I did on the show called Stuck in a Dream with Me. Careful now, don't play with my heart. I could fall in love. That may not be smart, for then where would you be? Stuck in a dream with me. Thanks again, Jim, and to all the lovedies, and I hope to see you again real soon. Take care. Happy New Year.
Thanks, John. We appreciate that. We will definitely have you back soon. Remember, we had the brilliant guitarist John LaBarbera on the show as well. Oh, that was epic. He'll be back real soon since we're talking music, right? Here's what he had to say.
Hi, everyone. John LaBarbera here with a quick shout out to celebrate the Jim Masters Show Live. And I'd like to share that with all of you. You know, I had such a great time on Jim's show last time. We spoke about music and a lot of my experiences as a musician, and it was just a very rewarding experience. And one of the best things is being able to share that with all of you and to watch the audience's reaction, which every show is very unique, and the way that Jim presents the show to you with audience interaction, I think is very important, and it really is mostly important during this period of time where we need this sense of connection. And Jim's show brings you right into that. You can look forward to it each night, and you never know who's going to appear. And I'm sure it's always a rewarding experience. You know, every time Jim and I would get together, it was always as if we were just, you know, we saw each other every day, and just feeling so comfortable. But now being able to have that experience with Jim's show, I think that he's opened it up to all of you and has built a wonderful family of friends and people from all over. It's so international, and it gives you really a sense of being connected. And that's one of the most important things, is the sense of community. And Jim has a great touch in doing that. So let's celebrate and hope to see you all again very soon on another show. And let's celebrate Jim Masters Show Live. See you all again soon, I hope. Ciao.
Thank you so much, John LaBarbera, a dear friend and incredible talent, and he'll be back as well. Remember, we had the wonderful singer and entertainer Kenny James on, live from Las Vegas. Here's what he had to say.
Hey, Jim. Oh, man, I want to tell you that how much I really enjoyed doing your show. You know, I have to admit, it was so much fun. I had like an hour and a half time scheduled to do the interview because I had another appointment after your interview, but it turned out to be so much fun. It almost felt like a family affair. It turned out to be so much fun that we went like 2.5 hours or so. And everyone said you did an incredible job with the interview. It was seamless. We had just a wonderful time, and I feel like I made a new friend out of it. So I really want to thank you very much for having me on your show. And I thank Terry Woolman for kind of recommending me for your show. And I have become a fan. What is it? A Levity fan? Levity fan? Yeah. But anyways, thank you very much, sir, for having me on your show. It was a pleasure.
You're very welcome. Thanks, Kenny. We'll have Kenny back as well real soon. Dear friend, acclaimed soprano Anna Velova was with us as well. She graced us with her extraordinarily beautiful voice, and she had these words.
Hi, Jim. I wanted to give you a thank you for having me on your show. It's such a great experience, and your show is so unique because it features accomplished professionals and shows the story not just of their lives on the stage, but also behind the scene. This is a very unique experience for the audience because they get to see how the life of a star in the entertainment business is on stage and also behind the scenes. You're also such a professional in your field of journalism, and you guided me with a lot of grace, and time just passed so quickly. And it was a pleasure for me and the audience. So thank you again. I am watching your shows now, and I'm a subscriber, and I recommend that for your audience and everyone who watches Jim Masters TV. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anna. We love you back and appreciate those really kind words. You're such an incredible performer and person and dear friend, and so happy that you can join us, and we will have you back as well. Remember when the brilliant singer and actress Olivia Clarke was with us here as well? She had these words.
Hi everyone, my name's Olivia Clarke. I'm a singer, songwriter, actress, and dancer. And this past July, I had the wonderful opportunity to appear on the Jim Masters show. It was an amazing experience. I was greeted by overwhelming kindness and levity by Jim and the viewers. I loved getting to share some of my experiences and a bit about who I am with all of you. And I am now so grateful to be a part of this family that Jim has brought together. I look forward to getting back onto the show in the new year. Bye, everyone.
She was a delight, and we'll definitely have her back. Remember when veteran actor, television, film, stage actor Tony LoBianco and his beautiful and brilliant wife, Elise LoBianco, who's extraordinary as well, joined us on the show. That was epic. They had these words.
Hey, Jim.
Hi, Jim. Tony and Elise LoBianco here. My dog?
We want to say how much we enjoyed being on your show this last year. You interviewed Tony. We were separately. You interviewed Tony for his acting career and me for my Christian ministry.
And we just want to thank you for being such a gracious host and for doing your homework, finding out about us, and doing such a great job. I also want to apologize for this, by the way. COVID, has taken away our freedom and not allowed us to be social or political. And I just grew this. It'll come off.
And I like it.
She likes it. Okay. Thank you.
We look forward to seeing you in 2021.
Absolutely. Take care, Jim.
Thank you, Tony and Elise LoBianco, dear friends, and we'll have them back as well. The incredible actor and director, producer, performer, writer, John L. Peacock was a guest on our show as well. He shared these words.
Howdy, everyone. John L. Peacock here, actor, writer, director, and I just wanted to take a moment to thank Jim Masters for everything that he does. He's able to bring people together from such a wide array of life experiences and backgrounds, and he's able to interview us in a way that, for me, just made me feel so comfortable, so at home. I met Jim literally a couple of minutes before we went on live for our roughly 2-hour interview, and it was refreshing. I felt like I was talking with an old best friend and we were catching up for the first time in 10 years. That's how at home, that's how comfortable he made me feel so quickly. So thank you, Jim, for all you do. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, my friend, John L. Peacock. He's brilliant. Remember when Ellis Gage, wonderful actor Ellis Gage, was with us? He shared these words.
Hi everyone, Ellis Gage here. This past summer I had the privilege of appearing on the Jim Master Show live, and I had the most incredible time. One of the most amazing things about Jim's show is the diverse array of artists featured from all walks of life. I really loved getting to share my own experience as a performer and really explore with Jim why we do what we do, you know, why artists make art, what it's all about. It helps remind me, and I believe many, just how important it is to keep creating and sharing our work, doing our thing, even through the most challenging of times. I mean, this show is a product of the pandemic, which really proves that there is often room to make art, to teach and learn through the abstract, etc., really in whatever situation. It was something very special, and I hope to be back for more levity, as Jim says, very soon.
Thanks, my friend Ellis Gage. You're amazing. We will definitely have you back real soon as well. Gang, we're going to wrap up. Just wanted to sprinkle in just a few of the many comments we've been getting from the guests who've appeared on our show. And it's always nice to hear their fine words. We appreciate that. We don't tell them what to say. They just share from the heart, and that's a beautiful thing. And we try to do that every night here on the Jim Master Show live as well. You guys go stretch those legs. Thanks for being with us. And it's always a joy and a blessing to have you here tuned in to the Jim Master Show live. We love you all. We'll be back tomorrow with Rachel Kaufman, extraordinary multi-instrumentalist. She's going to be here tomorrow, and we look forward to it. Babette Michelle Lee, your show, your guest, your interviewer style, the audience engagement in real time, all I can say is wow. Thank you very much, Babette. It is something quite special we've created here, and I'm so glad you're a part of the Lovity Squad on the Jim Masters Show live. Spread the word to everybody you know. I really appreciate that, Babette. Glad you're enjoying it. Christine Clifton says, thanks for such a magical show with Martha. There's amazing, mesmerizing music. So entertaining tonight. The music made me feel so relaxed, which is a good thing. Good night, Jim, and all Lovities. You as well. You have a good night. And Lovity hugs to all from Maureen in Arizona. Good way to wrap it up. Gang, you're the best. We hope to see you tomorrow. If not, don't forget, you can see everything in the archives. Got an amazing week of guests continuing here on the Jim Master Show live. Sending you lots of light, love, and levity and lovity. Have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.